Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Matty here from Chilled TCG. Today we're going to be looking at a new set that was announced a couple of days ago now for a new set that's coming in February, or actually sorry, it's coming in March 19th, and that is actually Sword and Shield Battle Styles. So this is just super cool. I'm a little bit late covering this stuff, but I figured I should talk about it anyway. It released a couple new mechanics with some new cards, and it's definitely really cool info. So I'm going to go ahead and just get right into it. This is the new set here, so Battle Styles, and coming March 19th. And, it's obviously focused around the two Urshifu cards, Urshifu, Rapid Strike and Single Strike. These are the cards in the Pokemon, I suppose, that came from the Isle of Armor DLC. So we'll have to wait a little bit for the Crown Tundra stuff, but this is definitely super cool. We'll get into it in just a little bit, but it actually introduced a couple new mechanics, which is the Rapid Strike mechanic here, as you can see, and then the Single Strike mechanic. So, it's kind of like a new archetype, similar to things like Ultra Beasts or like Tag Team Pokemon, or just Tag Team cards in general, where they sort of have like an extra, facet to the card, and it could be described in card text and other types of things as well. So, definitely really cool. I'm not going to go ahead and read all of this entire stuff, but we're definitely going to take a look at the new cards. So the mechanic is super cool. So like I said, there's going to be two different types of Pokemon in this set. There's going to be Single Strike Pokemon and Rapid Strike Pokemon. There's also Single and Rapid Strike energies, supporter cards, tool cards, stadium cards. It's just super cool in general. They haven't released every card in the set, but I think that this set is going to be really good. And there's also actually a couple cards in the set that look really cool as well. I think right off the gate, I want to take a look at the two front runners for the set, which are the Urshifu VMAXs for the Single Strike and Rapid Strike variant. Let's take a look at those right off the gate. The first one here is going to be the Single Strike Urshifu VMAX. So these things are pretty similar, obviously in the way they look, but also in design. They're both fighting type Pokemon with 330 HP, which is very solid for a VMAX Pokemon. And it's actually cool. These guys are weak to Psychic, not weak to Grass like Colossal was, because it's technically like a Rock type or a Ground type, but definitely super cool. This is hopefully going to kind of complete that power struggle, that power imbalance between things like Dragapult VMAX and Eternatus VMAX. So now we have an Urshifu VMAX. Hopefully when this thing, enters the format, or when both of these cards enter the format, it's going to, give things like Eternatus VMAX a little bit less of a solidified spot in the meta, and hopefully allowing things like Dragapult to rise back up and see some more play. Right now, I think Dragapult definitely sees more play now than it did when Eternatus first came out. But now, hopefully, those three cards will see an even amount of play. And, neither of them will have too much of an advantage in the meta in terms of their typings, right? So I think that's important. But let's take a little bit of closer look. So this guy, he's got a retreat cost of 330 HP. That first attack, beat down, 100 damage for 3 colorless energy. Not super, impressive. I guess, you could, I don't know, it takes fighting energy, so, it's not super easy to get 3 energy onto a VMAX Pokemon. I suppose you could use, the Rose Engine, which people just don't play. It's colorless, so I guess that's, a single welder attachment away, but it's only 100 energy or 100 damage for 3 energy. That first attack just doesn't seem that great, although if it's your only option, 100 damage definitely isn't bad at all. But that second attack there, so it's Gmax 1 blow. So for 3 fighting in a colorless, does 270. So 4 damage, 270, definitely not bad at all. Especially since you'll see a lot of cards that are Single Strike Pokemon that go along with this Urshifu VMAX boost damage. So potentially can do a lot of damage. Of course, goes along with that Single Strike mechanic. Only one attack, right? Just sort of like one big damage attack, and kind of building up for that one big hit. But it's the attack reads: you discard all energy from this Pokemon, and this attack damage isn't affected by your opponent's active Pokemon, or affected by effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. This is actually super cool. So you're hitting 270 no matter what. You're hitting through, Decidueye, you're hitting through Obstagoon, you're hitting through Altaria, you're hitting through anything that might negate damage through effects or whatnot. You're consistently, no matter what, doing that damage output, which is definitely super cool. I like that a lot. It kind of guarantees that this thing is going to be a heavy hitter. 4 energies, 4 fighting energies on this Pokemon might be a little bit hard to obtain. We do have things like Colossal to accelerate energy, and maybe a few other cards in this set that we'll see here in a bit. But it's still going to be pretty difficult to get 4 energies on. And in my opinion, doing 270 is good, right? So you're going to one-shot especially with a couple damage boosting cards. You're going to one-shot every tag team in GX and V card out there, which is definitely really cool. So, again, kind of making it so people are more, I guess, inclined to play VMAX Pokemon above tag teams, but I still don't see how that's going to be the case. This thing, obviously it will get the one shot on Eternatus VMAX, which is definitely really cool. But 4 energies on this thing, it's going to be hard to kind of set up. I think it's a little bit clunky, and 270 isn't that much damage considering that most VMAX Pokemon have between like 320 and 340 HP, so you're probably not, I guess it's technically possible that we'll look at in just a little bit, but you're probably never going to be able to one-shot any VMAX Pokemon, which makes me feel like, the 270 is good, it's better than like doing 200 damage, but at the same time, it's still not like a one-hit KO Pokemon, at least not in sort of the new format sense. But let's take a look at the Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. This one particularly is my favorite. I like this one a bit better. So this one again has 330 HP, weak to Psychic, but it's got a retreat cost of 2. And you'll see that is very important for a card like this. So that first attack, Gale Thrust, 30 damage for 1 energy. But if this Pokemon moved from your bench to your active spot this turn, it does 120 more damage. So potentially kind of has that... that Tandem Shock vibe, where, obviously you do more damage when you're switched in on the spot, and like that Hoopa, right, from Darkness Ablaze. But 150 for 1 energy is absolutely phenomenal, considering how you're still one-shotting things like Pikarom, you're still one-shotting really any electric-type tag team Pokemon or V Pokemon, just for 1 energy. It's really, we have plenty of tool cards, like your cards to put in this deck archetypes toolkit. You have things like Birdkeeper, you have Switch, of course, you have Air Balloon, you have Malolana. There's just plenty of cards that you might be running in a deck like this to make sure that you consistently can switch from your bench to your active spot. And 1 energy for 150 is a lot better than that single strike Urshifu, which is 100 for 3 energy. So I like this first attack a whole lot. I think it's pretty much a better Colossal attack, personally. I think it's going to be easier to set up and does more damage. So I like this a whole lot, personally, and it's got the same amount of HP as Colossal, too, so very good first attack. Let's take a look at the second. So for only 3 energy, 2 fighting energy and a colorless, Gmax Rapid Flow. So you discard all energy from this Pokemon, but this attack does 120 to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. So any 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. This can be the active spot, and you don't apply weakness or resistance for benched Pokemon, which is also pretty important. To realize, but with a retreat cost of 2, this card is a lot more viable, I believe, than the other one, than the single strike one, and this attack is actually pretty crazy. So if you think about it, this card will work with Telescopic Sight, and you can potentially do, I think, like 170 to some benched Pokemon. Maybe you just get a couple Zigzagons in here to finish off the damage. Absolutely insane. Like, it's crazy, this attack. And especially combined with that first attack doing 150, it's just absolutely crazy. So, I like it a whole lot. Potentially get multiple, KOs in one turn. We've seen that mechanic and sort of that battle strategy be extremely, extremely effective in the meta right now with things like Pikarom, which of course does 120 and 170 to the bench, but that's for 6 energy. This is 120 to 2 Pokemon for 3 energy, which overall seems like it's a better payoff, especially when you have access to things like Telescopic Sight. And I just feel like this card is above and beyond a lot better than the single strike card, and honestly one of the better VMAXs that we've had so far in this in this era, I guess, of Pokemon cards, the Sword and Shield era. I'm super excited for this one. It actually has a lot of cards that go with it that are actually super good, and really good for this deck's toolkit. So we'll take a look at those. But those are the sort of the front runners, the VMAX Pokemon. Next, I want to take a look at these 2 sort of front runner supporter Pokemon that go with each style. So this Emboar here from Single Strike Emboar, it seems to be sort of the main support Pokemon to go with Single Strike. I guess that's sort of what they're implying here. So Heat Crash, 4 energy, whatever, 130. But its ability, your Single Strike Pokemon attacks do 130 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So 30 more damage is actually really impressive. So this brings that Single Strike Urshifu up to 300 for 4 energy, which is very good in general. Of course, Reshiram and Charizard used to be super good back in the day, and that did 300 for 6 energy. So 300 for 4 energy with this Emboar on the bench. Definitely super cool. And we'll also take a look, too, that's not the only damage boosting card that Single Strike Pokemon have. And this Octillery, this Rapid Strike Artillery, is actually one that I like even more. So, you know, Waterfall, 50 damage. Again, you're not playing it for the attack, but the ability... Excuse me, the ability, once during your turn, you may search your deck for a Rapid Strike card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck, and you cannot use more than one Rapid Strike search ability per turn. Now this, again, if you read this card, it means that you can grab any Rapid Strike card. This works for any Rapid Strike Pokemon, the new Rapid Strike Energy, which we'll see, or the Stadium or the Tool cards, whatever it might be. Any Rapid Strike card you can search with this Octillery once per turn, and it's only a Stage 1 Pokemon. Absolutely busted. I think it's going to give this deck a lot more consistency. So I think that this goes really well with this Urshifu Rapid Strike. So definitely really cool. I guess we should just look at the normal Urshifu Vs. I mean, these things are very impressive. You know, they follow suit, so they both have 120 or 220 HP, retreat costs of 2, both weak to Psychic. The Rapid Strike one, Strafe 30, you may switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon, so this actually works kind of well if this is stuck in your active spot, like turn 1. Going second, you can get that damage off, go back onto your bench, evolve into it, and then switch back into the active spot and do that 150 next turn, so very cool. And then 3 Energy 150. This guy, the Single Strike one, Laser Focus, so... You know, no damage, but for 1 energy for the first attack, search your deck for 2 energy cards and attach them to this Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. So, again, this attack is going to help set up that Single Strike Urshifu, because otherwise it might be a little bit difficult to get the energies on. But again, you're kind of wasting a turn to do that. So again, you're kind of hoping that you live like 2 or 3 turns before you can get in and attack. So I don't know if overall that's a better strategy than the other one, but it seems like... you know, this is an appropriate attack to have on this, you know, the Single Strike Urshifu V. Next up, 3 Energy, 180. It can attack during your next turn. Again, it's sort of just like a dumbed down or like a watered down Zacian attack, which, you know, 180 is not bad. You definitely can knock out a few Pokemon with 180. And again, you are still hitting for weakness against things like Pikarom and Eternatus. 180 will get the one-shot KO on Eternatus VMAX, so important to keep that in mind. 3 Energy. Sets itself up, and you can get the one-shot on Eternatus VMAX, so it might even just be more worth playing like one of these in some of your decks, but we'll see. So those are the normal Urshifu Vs. Again, you're really probably only going to play them to get into the VMAXs, but next up, let's take a look at a couple other of these Rapid Strike and Single Strike cards. So this Mienshao, I don't really find it too impressive. You know, pound, 20 damage. 90 HP on a stage 1 Pokemon, retreat cost of 1. And then Spinning Whip, 90 for 2 energy. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. Shuffle this card and all cards attached to it into your deck. So I just don't really find this card to be too crazy. I mean, that second attack can be really cool. Putting it back into your deck is, you know, that sort of retreat attack effect is often seen pretty good in some archetypes and some sort of specific decks that focus around things like that. Maybe you could play in like an Altaria deck or whatnot, but you know, it's you know, it is what it is. I don't find it too crazy. This Houndoom though is actually really cool. So, Single Strike Roar. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a Single Strike Energy card and attach it directly to one of your Single Strike Pokemon. Then shuffle your deck. And if you did this in any way, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. So, you know, it's, again, a way to accelerate more energy to Urshifu VMAX. So it has a few ways to get that energy on. But overall, I feel like it's still a bit more clunky than the Rapid Strike one. That's still my opinion. But this Houndoom is super cool. I like it a whole lot. And I think that this ability and this card should be pretty much essential when playing the Single Strike Urshifu VMAX deck. But yeah, so last up, I guess we just had these this Empoleon and this Tyranitar Single Strike. So this Empoleon V, actually, this ability is very important to talk about. So as long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent's basic Pokemon in play have no abilities except for Pokemon with a rule box. This is super cool. So they're actually incorporating sort of a new text sort of mechanic in terms of like these, you know, these rulings, right? Which is definitely really cool to see. And this kind of future-proofs Empoleon V in a way. So, you know, it says except for Pokemon with a rule box, which is like Pokemon V and GX, and you can see like at the bottom of the card, Pokemon have a rule box. So as long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent's basic Pokemon in play have no abilities, except for Pokemon V, GX, etc. cards that have rule boxes. So this is pretty cool. I don't really find it that good of an ability, but it's definitely a really interesting sort of description of an ability here that we see on this Empoleon V. The attack is kind of cool. So for water, 2 colorless, Swirling Slice, 130, move an energy from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. You'll see that this this attack and the Urshifu VMAX attack works really well with the new special energy that comes out in the set. We'll take a look at that in a bit. Tyranitar V is very non-interesting, so 230 HP, but Cragalanche, 60 damage, discard the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. So for three energies, I guess you can do 60 and do a little bit of a mill effect. You know, it's whatever, I suppose. And then 240 for 4 energy, single strike crush, discard the top 4 cards of your deck. So 240 for 4 is not terrible. If you had a way to really accelerate energies on this thing consistently, then doing 240 on a basic Pokemon is actually pretty good. But I don't really see it being any more effective than like Zacian ever. So, but definitely kind of interesting to think about. Tyranitar V still gets one shot by Zacian, you know, so rip to Tyranitar. But so these are the majority of the sort of the new Pokemon that we're getting in this set. They're definitely super, super cool. But again, I think it's also important to look at, if we scroll down, there's plenty of other like cards that are coming, right? These look like promo versions, I believe. Yeah, I believe. Okay. Well, anyway, let's take a look at all of these trainer cards. So first one is Billowing Fan. Now, this one is going to make a lot of people rage. Return a special energy. Return a special energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon to the bottom of their deck. So this is sort of like Crushing Hammers, except you don't have to flip a coin. It's only for special energies, and you put it on the bottom of your opponent's deck instead of discarding it. This is still extremely powerful. Special energies are not only going to be very important for this set, but they're also been very important and very common in sets that have been coming out recently. All the Sword and Shield sets, plenty of special energies. Your opponent's almost running it. Special energies in their deck, maybe not in Welder decks, but most other decks for sure. So this on top of Crushing Hammers, even with Team Yellgrunt, it adds sort of another 4 cards or another layer of energy denial or energy removal to your deck, and could definitely. You know, we'll definitely see a lot of play, I think, and could be very interesting or very annoying, no matter which way you look at it. Okay, so next up I want to take a look at these Mustard cards. So Mustard has supporter cards for Rapid Strike and Single Strike. So the Rapid Strike one, they're both very similar, pretty much exactly the same. So this one, you play this card only if it's the last card in your hand. You put a Rapid Strike Pokemon from your discard pile straight onto your bench and then draw 5 cards. This is, of course, very, very similar to, I forget the name of that card. It was like Archie's Trump card or something like that. I forget specifically what the name is, but it's pretty much the same idea. Could be very powerful. It's situational, but very powerful. You can put a VMAX straight onto your bench and draw 5 cards, which is absolutely busted if it is the last card in your hand. The Single Strike Mustard is exactly the same thing, but for Single Strike Pokemon. So those supporters are definitely pretty interesting. They're the only ones we've really seen that are specifically for Rapid and Single Strike. There might be more in the future. Next up, I want to take a look at these special energy cards, which are both very good and very important to realize. So Rapid Strike Energy, this card can only be attached to Rapid Strike Pokemon, of course, but while this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides a water and fighting energy, but provides only 2 energy at a time. So this means that you can attach this to any Pokemon that's a Rapid Strike Pokemon. It can count as 2 waters, 2 fightings, or a water and a fighting. It's a double energy that you can attach to a VMAX Pokemon, which makes that Urshifu VMAX that much more playable. If we take a look, it's got 3 energy in its attack cost. With this special energy, that's pretty much 2 attachments away from setting up 3 energy consistently too. Just absolutely insane. Really sort of ties into sort of the speed factor of the Rapid Strike Urshifu. And I think it's going to be super viable. I think it's going to make that deck a lot better. Also works really well with that Empoleon that we saw. But next up is the special Single Strike Energy. So this one, you know, it counts as a Dark and a Fighting, only provides 1 energy, but gives your Pokemon 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So like I said, you know, if you have that Emboar on your bench, that brings the Single Strike Urshifu up to 300 damage. You attach one of these, that brings it up to 320 damage for 1 attack. No matter what, 320 is definitely a powerful attack for 4 energy, I'm not going to lie. Plus, you have that Houndoom to accelerate energy to it. It's going to be a really cool deck, but I think that people are just going to start running Big Charm, and they're not going to care about you. But whereas that other Urshifu Max definitely seems to have, you know, a little bit more of a, I don't know, a more viable strategy, I guess. That's just my opinion, but the Single Strike Energy is definitely super, super cool. Those are the special energies. Next up, I want to look at this Vitality Jars. So it's an item card for Single Strike Pokemon. Choose up to 2 Single Strike Energy cards from your discard pile, reveal them, and then shuffle them into your deck. So it's a way to recycle these cool new Single Strike Energies. which is cool. I think, definitely cards that you're going to want to get back at probably in late game. So you have a card to do that. Kind of like, it's like it's like 1/2 of Ordinary Rod, but only for this special energy. Next up, these are actually cool, but I don't know how good they're gonna be. So these are kind of like TMs now, on new TMs, and now they're like scrolls, and they're tool cards that you attach to either your single strike or rapid strike Pokemon, and you give them extra attacks, which is kind of cool. So the rapid strike one, you have to attach it to rapid strike Pokemon, and for fighting in 2 colorless, Whirlpool Dream, this attack does 30 damage to all of your opponent's Pokemon. So again, like a damage spread attack for 3 energy seems a little bit steep, 30 to every Pokemon. But again, it just doesn't seem that good. You can't use it with Telescopic Sight, excuse me, because it is, again, a tool card. But kind of cool concept in general. Single strike scroll, so it kind of gives it this outrage from Reshiram and Charizard mechanic. So only for 1 fighting, you have to attach it to a single strike Pokemon, but it does 10 damage plus 10 more for each damage counter on that Pokemon. So definitely kind of cool. You have 330 HP, so you could potentially get, do 330 damage for 1 energy. Very powerful indeed. Kind of a cool card to maybe just keep in your deck in case like the math checks out and you can just attach it and get some crazy revenge KOs. But those are the tool cards, the scrolls, which is definitely very interesting. Next, I want to look at the single strike and rapid strike. Yes, we have it for every type of card pretty much. They have their own stadiums, so let's take a look. So the Tower of Darkness for single strike Pokemon. Once during their turn, each player may discard a single strike card from their hand and draw 2 cards. So this, again, it could be really cool. It doesn't really work with Mustard because you do draw 2 cards off of it. But again, it is sort of a way to just sort of, accelerate cards. Like it's like a little bit of a draw engine, and you have to discard a single strike card from your hand. It doesn't seem too phenomenal. The rapid strike one actually sounds awesome. So it just says the retreat cost of each rapid strike Pokemon in play is 2 colorless less, and this gives Urshifu VMAX free retreat. Along with that first attack that it has, definitely seems super cool. I like that a lot personally. I think that's super crazy. Overall, to wrap up, I mean, we do have Honey here. Draw a card for each V Pokemon on your opponent's bench. Doesn't seem that great at all. The art's kind of cool, I guess, but very bad card in my opinion. We have looks like some promo versions of these cards. Is anything any different? Oh no, this is different. I think 20 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So they're kind of like promo versions, and they're a tad bit different. And then we also have rapid and single strike versions of Rillaboom and Cinderace V, which is kind of cool. I wonder if we'll get their VMAX versions that have rapid and single strike versions, but we'll see. But that is sort of the new cards that were released. There's plenty of cool stuff, all the pack art, ETB, the designs, which look really cool, booster boxes, this mini portfolio, which is cool, these blisters, plenty of really cool stuff coming in battle styles. I really like it a lot. Again, they're doing sort of that thing with Sword and Shield where you can buy both kinds of ETBs. It's red and blue again. I don't know how I feel about that. It definitely looks super cool. The Urshifus are going to be really cool, and I am excited about it. There was a really cool trailer video too that we're not going to watch, but if you're interested, definitely go check it out. And this art for these is just ridiculous. I love this. It's definitely something I could make as like my background. This one is cool. I do like this one better. I like the art style better and sort of the color palette. But that's enough. I was here to talk about the cards, and I think we did that. So about 23 minutes long, this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But let me know. Comment below what you guys think the better Urshifu VMAX is. Do you think that overall rapid strike cards or single strike cards are better? Which one? Let me know. Comment below. Give me your opinions. And then let me know if you guys enjoy news videos like this and kind of coverage of things that are more recently announced. I think it's going to be really important when it comes to the meta in March when it gets released. I think that it's going to have a big and a good impact on the game. And I think new mechanics like this are also really cool and always welcome to our game. So yeah, that's going to wrap up the video, guys. I've been Maddie from Chilled TCG. Make sure that you guys like the video if you like the video for the algorithm, and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot, supports me and the community. Always appreciated. And if you're still watching this, guys, congratulations, because now I'm going to let you know about our $3,000 tournament that's coming up this weekend, the GG Tour Chilled TCG Cup #2. So this is probably one of the biggest prize pools ever in online Pokemon history. It's $3,000 cash to the prize pool. Top 32 players get cash prizing. Registration is only $5 to get into the tournament if you use my code CHILL5, all uppercases on the 5. And it's yeah, it's gonna be insane, guys. It's just a super cool tournament. I'll post a link to it down below. And yeah, so I'm gonna end on that, guys. I will see you guys later, and I hope you guys have a good night.